So I wanted to do a video today just about kind of some things that I have been learning on my journey. So I basically, was living in Mexico for the last 4 months and needed to go back to the States because of a lot of reasons, which is a whole other video. But when I went back to the States, I was, working really hard and like being around my family and all of that. And although I have like a really amazing family, a very supportive family, all of that, I just started to realize that me being back in the States around like the same energies, the same people, it was becoming very challenging for me to stay focused on my own personal detox, physical healing journey, emotional healing journey. I was around a lot of stuff that was triggering to me, and I was starting to feel very set back in my old ways. I had a huge life change about 1.5 years ago and had done a ton of personal inner work on myself, and I had to come back to the States and I had to come back to really be around my family and just different energies and all of that. And I realized that although I truly love all of the people that are back home, there was a reason why I left. There was a reason why I had gotten to where I got to mentally, because there was just a lot of things that were not resolved within myself, or that were just not good for me emotionally or physically to be around. And I guess would say that I've learned a pretty interesting lesson in the fact that sometimes we do have to distance ourselves from people that we love. Even if they're not toxic, there's nothing wrong with them. Sometimes our own personal energies, our own personal distractions or temptations, sometimes we physically need to put boundaries and put space between people we love because of ourselves. And that's kind of what I experienced after, being gone for several months, living away from my inner circles, and then coming back to those inner circles and trying to continue to implement all of the things that I had learned. Just was really hard. And I'm super proud of myself because although I did take several steps backwards, I guess you would say, in kind of just my inner work and my detox journey and all of that, it was a really interesting, good lesson for me to learn that, sometimes when we grow from certain situations or certain people, it's okay to revisit those people. And it's okay to revisit those places, but sometimes it's when you've closed a chapter and you've moved forward, sometimes you need to just keep moving forward. You don't need to go back, and you don't need to see if you can fit your new self into the old surroundings and the old circles. And I think that was one of the biggest reasons why, after I had gone to Thailand, that I didn't want to move back. To Dallas, because I just felt so detached from that place. And not that there was anything wrong with it or that I was better than that city. I felt like that chapter had been closed for me in that particular part of my life. And it's interesting too, because when I was leaving Mexico, I felt as if this particular part of my life in Mexico was also complete. I felt like this chapter was done, but somehow I ended up back here. And that was kind of an interesting lesson as well, that I am trying to be more, or I am more in just a state of flow, a state of trusting, a state of just being open to all different possibilities of what life could look like. And I had told myself whenever I left here, whenever I had left Mexico to go back to the States, I had told myself that if I was supposed to go back to Mexico, it would just very easily and freely open back up for me. And that's exactly what happened. I was feeling really stuck, really depressed, really just my energy was drained from like being around just energies that I didn't need to be around. And I was like, I don't know where to go. I have no plan. I don't know what's going to make sense for me as far as living wise, because I need to live somewhere that's walkable, but I don't want to live in a huge city. So I was just trying to figure out what to do. And ironically, this apartment that I'm sitting in right now, one of my friends that I had met here in Mexico a couple of months ago, she had posted that she was trying to sublease her apartment. And I just kind of was like, you know what, I'll inquire, see what the deal is with that space. And long story short, here I am in this apartment. And all of this happened so seamlessly. And I just, told myself, I don't know why I'm going back to Mexico. I don't really know. Like, I felt like that chapter was done, but I also was trusting that there was a reason why all of this stuff was opening up for me, that this was just so easy for me to come back here. I knew a lot of people here. A lot of people were reaching out to me, asking me like when I was coming back. And I just told myself, you know what, where you're at right now, which was back in the States, it's not working. It doesn't feel good. You're not happy with yourself. You're not happy with like your surroundings. And I was like in tune enough with myself to know, like, you don't know where you're going to go, but you need to go somewhere. And also just like not being afraid that where I was going was going to be the wrong decision. So that's basically what I did. I was like, you know what, this whole opportunity to go back to Mexico in the same area with a community that I already have, like that's opened up for me, and that's what I did. And I've learned so many lessons over the past couple of months about knowing that it's okay to take a step back, knowing when it's okay to say, hey, I need to be a little bit more prepared, or and not being disappointed in that. And also the other lessons that I learned was it's okay to revert back on your healing journey. If you have worked really hard on yourself, I think one of the biggest things that's really scary is that you're like, I don't want to go back to the old version of myself that I tried so hard to get away from. And that's what I was struggling with. I was so worried about that. And it's crazy because I ended up experiencing that. I did kind of go back to some of the old thought processes, habits, energies of myself that I had worked so hard to get away from. And I got back there, and you know what? It was okay. I was able to give myself grace and say, you know what? You know where you're at. This doesn't feel good, and you need to make a different decision. And that different decision brought me kind of down just like a new journey of I'm really uncertain about what my life and what everything is going to look like in the next 3 to 6 months, but I'm okay with it. I'm just going with the flow. I have all of my ducks in order. I know that being back home is like not what I'm supposed to be doing, and I'm kind of just like one big question mark, which I think is really beautiful. And now that I'm prepared financially, business-wise, all of that, I had been prepared mentally, emotionally previously. Now like just kind of living this big open-ended journey is totally okay. And so I wanted to make a video about this because I learned, as you can see, several different lessons throughout the last 4 months from being in Mexico, having to go back to East Texas, and then coming back to Mexico. So I hope that you guys found some value in my own personal struggles, because I know that these are things that like a lot of people struggle with, and a lot of us are just really hard on ourselves and are so scared to make a mistake, take a step back, so scared of the unknown. all of that. And I just wanted to make a video about my personal experience because guess what? I didn't die and the world didn't end, and all these things have happened, and it's totally okay. So I'm going to be showing you guys though kind of my next couple of months here in Mexico. I'm supposed to stay at this apartment for at least 2 months. I came back here to restart like my detox journey. I am going to be diving back into like my wellness detox coaching and mindset coaching. If you guys don't know, I've gotten several certifications in detoxification, regenerative health, iridology, coaching. And so I'm personally restarting my detox, and then in a couple of weeks, which will be January 7th-ish, I'm going to be starting like a group detox, and it's going to be like a mind, body, spirit detox. It's not just physical. It's very much like getting everybody's physical and emotional body on the right page to head into the new year. So yeah, that's what I'm going to be doing for the next couple of months, is focusing on wellness and detox, my personal journey and others' journeys. And then who knows where I'll end up in a couple of months from now. A part of me has been thinking about maybe just taking the first 6 months of 2024 and just traveling throughout South America. The other part of me is like, oh my gosh, that sounds really overwhelming, and I don't know if I have the energy to be like packing up, unpacking, packing up, packing. But I'm just kind of leaving everything open-ended and just being open to all of it. So thank you guys so much for watching. Please comment below if any of these lessons that I've learned have resonated with you at all. Yeah, I'd like to know that I'm like not alone, even though I know I'm not alone. But yeah, comment below. Talk to you guys soon.